Hello everybody, it's me. Welcome back to the video. Now, I'm in a bit of a different setting than usual because I'm actually been doing a little bit of a different video. Mostly the reason I'm doing this is because I'm not really feeling PvPing today. I kind of just feel like not thinking. So, today, I'm going to be going over 5 possible doodles that could get awakenings on Runic Island. We currently know of, I think, 5, being Hatrix, Cryoterra, Mothra, Thornet, and Groato. We know of all of those that have them. But, what about other ones that might have them? I've compiled a list of 5 things that I think are pretty likely to get them, though just know this is not confirmed at all. This is entirely speculation. But, yeah, let's hop right into it. Okay, little editor's note before we actually get into the video. When I was looking back and actually editing this, I feel like there were a lot of the things that I said, like, before I actually, I didn't actually make the stats for the awakened things, until after the video. So some of the things that I said aren't going to make any sense because that happened post-editing rather than prior to it. So just bear with me. A lot of the things I said don't make any sense, but that's pretty much everything that I ever do. But yeah. Anyway, let's hop into it. First up on our list is actually going to be Renewt. Now, the thing about Renewt is I feel like it is very lackluster whenever I've tried to use it. Like, don't get me wrong, it does really, really good damage, but the fact it can only perform under Trick Room, and it can really only do, like, 3 to 4 good, or like, not even 3 to 4 good, like 1 to 2 hits before it's gonna die really sucks. If it had the old Dauntless ability, I guarantee you Renewt would be used way, way, way more, because basically it would remove its mind weakness and making it just so much better on that regard. I think Renewt's likely to get one, and I think you're likely to find it on Runic Island because it's quite literally a rune, right? It's literally a rune. It doesn't make any sense that it wouldn't get an awakening. I don't really know. It'd be cool to give it an awakening, make it a lot slower, way bulkier, with a lot higher attack stats. I'm gonna go pull up I'm gonna give you guys a screenshot on screen now, and that's gonna basically show you what Renewt's possible awakened stats could look like. And just know I'm kind of going off of like Thornet and Mothra, all those guys' stats, maybe even Groto's, because I think they would have similar BSTs. But yeah, that is Renewt's. I think it's likely to get one. I don't think it would get a type change. Maybe. I don't really see it getting a type change. Earthmine's pretty solid. But yeah, that's the first one. And, well, I'd really like to see it because it could definitely become a very strong staple on Trick Room teams. Maybe even getting a trait change to where it summons Trick Room on switch-in. That would make Renewt a staple of all Trick Room teams and make Reverse Singularity such a viable strategy if it was able to summon on a switch-in. And I think it wouldn't last that long, like 2 to, like, maybe 3 turns of lasting whenever it does it. So it would Mega and then set up Trick Room for 3 turns. And that would just make it a really good setter. You could use a defensive awakened one for setting consistently, or you can just use an offensive awakened one. Could be very, very strong, and it would be very interesting to see how it would perform if it did end up getting that. But, yeah, let's hop into the next one. Let's go. Next up on our list is actually Luma. Now, something about Luma to me right now feels a little weird. Like, of course I did Mono Light a little bit ago, and I don't think Luma is bad in the slightest. It has good speed, very, very good coverage. I don't think Luma is bad, but I think there's a good chance it could get an awakened form. And I don't really think that's the bias speaking. I think it's just, it would make sense, because Luma just feels like even after 1 glow up, it just can't do enough damage. It's too frail, and its typing sucks to where it's just gonna get one-shot by pretty much everything, and priority is everywhere, so it's hard to use something like this. So if it was to get an awakening, it could get a very large special attack boost with some speed, which would be really, really nice, and maybe even change its trait to Bright Lights, making it so it's able to effectively counter most dark types, being Metacrow's full wall, being immune to both Night Knight and Goo Blast, being the perfect Metacrow check, which would be incredible to see that. And I'll put the stats on screen now that I think Luma could get. And honestly, I'm actually like, I'm not gonna lie real quick. I didn't actually plan on putting stats on the screen. I kind of just planned on talking about them, but I guess putting the stats on the screen makes it looks a bit better. But yeah, I think these could be pretty decent stats for Luma. And I don't know. I feel like Lumalang could be pretty solid after that. Of course, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's pretty mediocre. It's definitely good if used in the right circumstances, but pretty mediocre all around. But it could be interesting if it was used and it got bright lights whenever it megaed, because it would be perfect for checking a lot of dark types in the game. Something like not Spear You either. I'm trying to think, like Metacrow, Incineroar, suddenly all things that it can't really switch in against safely. It's able to get perfect switches in. Like, it would resist Fireball, right? Incinerate wouldn't get rid of the Runestone, be the perfect check to Incineroar. Would be a very, very strong awakening, and I definitely think that'd be very good. Giving it a very high speed stat with a very strong special attack could be very solid. But yeah, that's Lumaline. Let's talk about the next one. And number 2 on the list is actually going to be Kaleidoscope, another light type. And I think this says a little bit about light types, because I think light types are pretty lackluster, because, I don't know, something about light just feels mediocre right now. I think later they're going to be a bit better whenever a lot of light types get added into comp. Things like Kadiri, Speedersonicv, you know, I think they could go hog wild. But talking about Kaleidoscope has always been somewhat of a meme, with like not the best traits in Kaleidoscope and Stinky being able to flinch or lower your accuracy, which accuracy lower does absolutely nothing in this game. Like, it does almost nothing. Lack of dual stab on a singular offensive stat. I think it gets Venibite and Flashing Strike, but Goo Blast Flashing Strike I think is better. Has Recombobulate now, so it's able to hit crystal types a bit. The problem with it isn't even, like, it seems solid on paper, right? Like, Mind Light is not the worst coverage, paired with Poison is pretty solid. The problem is, it's not strong enough. Like, I think its highest offensive stat is, I don't even know, dude, like 90 something. And it really looks like it's meant to be like a hindrance with Stinking Kaleidoscope. Yeah, its highest attacking stat is 80 in its magical attack. And that's not enough. It's not enough to actually do what Kaleidoscope is supposed to do, which really looks like it's just supposed to, I don't know, be a special wall that does damage. It's just very mid. Kaleidoscope is incredibly mid, and it would really, really like an awakened form. And I could see it getting these stats on screen. Boosting its magical defense would be pretty solid, and then giving it focusing on one side of the attacking spectrum, probably either melee attack or magic attack, it really depends. Giving it a little bit more speed would be pretty nice, but yeah, honestly, I would really just like to see Kaleidoscope used a bit more, because it just doesn't feel strong enough. And changing its trait to, I'd have to think, maybe a completely new trait, because I don't really see anything that it would work with. Maybe, I don't really know, I'd have to think, but maybe keeping its trait from, just keep it as Stinky, and then keep it as Kaleidoscope. I don't really know, but I don't think either of those traits are very good. After a bit of thinking, it would make sense for it to get Superliminal, which would give it priority in all its light moves, making it a very strong revenge killer. And paired with its like 90 speed, it'd be pretty solid all around. I do think Kaleidoscope definitely deserves something like this, and it'd be such a cool buff. And it would be really interesting to see what they actually turn Kaleidoscope into. Would it become like a, I don't know. I kind of like Kaleidoscope, but I just never wanted to use it because it's just so mid. It's very mid. But anyway, that's Kaleidoscope. Let's hop in the next one. And the next one on our list here is actually Kalamander. Now, what I like, I've never really actually liked Kalamander, but what I like about this is the potential that Kalamander could turn into. I could see it's awakened, turning it from like, I know I'm kind of biased when it comes to this, but most people when they mega evolve something or awaken it, it's going to want to do damage and just be scary, right? So what if this turned from a like little food raptor thing to a giant food beast behemoth of a dragon? It could get the food beast typing, be quad weak to 2 types, being beast and fire, which is really, really nice. It could even get divine beast, being immune to one of its quad weaknesses, which could be very, very solid. And changing its stats to be a little bit more offensive and keeping that health stat, but probably not changing its speed that much, because I don't really think we need a super duper fast one. We probably a bulky-ish one, because Kalamander is meant to be somewhat bulky, but giving it its awakened stats on screen now would be a good change, because it get a lot of offensive pressure, and it could be bulky enough with its feast. It could be like a stall thing. It could really depend, but I think Kalamander does deserve a little bit of love. I really only see it when people are running stall on Chocolate Rain, which isn't the funnest thing to fight, and I don't know. Kalamander, I think, would really, really like an awakening and be very interesting. I'd love to see it just turn into a food dragon that's just like raining down attacks on it. Could be very, very cool. It could even get like, I don't really know what it would get, but Divine Beast sounds like a pretty decent one, or even Fire Up, you know? Fire Up or Divine Beast could be cool, giving it an immunity to both of its quad weaknesses, and it would just pick one, you know? I think Divine Beast make the most sense, because it is going to turn into a divine food dragon. But yeah, that'd be a very cool one, and I think Kalamander would very much appreciate it, turning it from just being, hey, I'm bulky, and then it would go into, hey, I'm Relicotus now, or like the awakened form, or what is it, the form change of Relicotus? Yeah. But yeah, I think Kalamander would really, really like it. And it would definitely make it a bit stronger than it is now, because I don't really see it very often. A lot of these things that I'm showing, I don't see very often. So, yeah, I think Kalamander would be pretty cool. It could definitely abuse its offensive pressure with its food and stuff. But problem with that is I don't actually think it gets any beast moves. So it would make sense for it to just stay as a pure food type, and then give it Divine Beast. That would make the most sense to me. Because it pretty much only has offensive food moves and not much else. But yeah, hopefully you guys liked this one, and let's hop into the final one. Can you guys guess what it is? Surprise, surprise, it is another food type. Now here we have Sombrock. I showcased Sombrock a little while back, and I did like it, and I think it was pretty solid. Did a lot of damage with its Harmony plus a Night set, and I really, really liked it. So what if we, like, kept that, what if we kept that going, right? Okay, I had to think of something for a second. But Sombrock, it hits really hard, is relatively bulky, and I think if it was to awaken, I think it would definitely keep the gloomy trait, maybe even have one that just doubles its dark damage instead of 30%, become just a super bulky magic attacker, lower the speed, make it just a big tank, and just do a lot of damage. I'll show the stats on screen now with what I think it could look like from what I'm envisioning. It'd be cool if it like started holding its scythe, you know, like it has this like, this is always like a scythe to me. What if it like held that, you know? And that would be very cool, and I like to see Sombrock get something like that. And it would definitely make it a bit stronger, because since of how slow it is in its food dark type, has a lot of weaknesses, 2 quad weaknesses to beast and bug, a weakness to fire, and it just doesn't really help that bulky water types are everywhere because of Seam Knight and Instinalisk, you know? Doesn't really help that either. But I think it'd be very, very cool. Could definitely be a very strong attacker on Chocolate Rain stall teams as their awakener that does like the break stuff. I could see it definitely paired that way, because I think it gets its damage boost under Chocolate Rain, and then it would just do a lot of damage. A lot of damage. You could even get Caloric Deficit and just do so much more damage. That'd be very, very cool. But yeah, overall, I think those are some 5 possible contenders for some awakenings. And honestly, I feel really good about all of them. I think it'd be very cool to see them all get some sort of awakening and some sort of nice buff to it. I'd also like something that I've used quite a bit to get an awakening, something like Volt Enchant. That'd be very cool, because I haven't used Remming quite a bit. But yeah, overall, I am very, very happy with this list. Let me know what you want to get an awakening. And until then, I'll see you all later. Bye-bye!